Hey, what's up, guys? Dustin Fox here to talk to you about self-development today. And if you don't know, I'm the owner of Fox Fit Nation. It's a men's self-development coaching program where I help high-performing men become their best possible versions of themselves. But without further ado, let's get into the video and we can start talking about things. So I'm sure you remember that version of yourself that had it all together. The guy who woke up early with no alarm, trained hard, made decisions fast, felt like he was building something, not just managing it. But then somewhere between the promotions, the responsibilities, the mortgage, the kids, you got burned out, you got buried. But here's what nobody's actually telling you. That version of you, he ain't coming back. And honestly, he shouldn't. Because the man that you're capable of becoming makes that guy look like a warm-up act, right? And here's the problem that most men have, right? Most men that are working on their self-development are playing a game of recovery. They are trying to get back to where they were. They're chasing a memory instead of building towards something new. And here's why that's not gonna work, okay? You can't really install new results on top of an old identity. You can download every productivity hack, you can follow every fitness program, you can buy every course you can possibly find, but if you still see yourself as the overwhelmed guy, the guy who lets things slide, your behavior is always going to find a way to match that image that you have of yourself. And this is what I call the identity ceiling. You hit it every single time you make progress. And I'm guilty of this through my entire adult life. You feel good for a couple weeks, things are really clicking, and then you start to self-sabotage. Whether that's with your vices, you miss your workouts, you slide back into old patterns. That is not weakness. That is just your identity actually doing its job. It's trying to keep you consistent with who you believe you are. The fitness problem, the energy problem, the focus problem, those aren't real freaking problems. Those are just symptoms. The real problem is that your standards have not caught up to your ambitions. And this is where a lot of men go wrong. So at some point, you're going to have a shift, right? You have to. So what actually changes things? It's not going to be motivation. Motivation is just a feeling. It comes and it goes. Not discipline either, because at least not the way that most of you guys want to define it, like some painful white knuckling through life. What changes things is a decision about who you are. High-performing men are the ones who've rebuilt themselves in their 30s and 40s and come out on the other side. They didn't get there through some grind culture. They got there because at some point they made a decision, and that decision became non-negotiable. They started saying things like, I'm someone who does not miss training. I'm someone who does not drink. I'm someone who controls my mornings. I'm someone who, whose word, especially to myself, means something. These aren't affirmations. These are literally standards. And the difference between a standard and a goal is this. A goal is something that you are trying to reach, and a standard is something that you refuse to fall below. So when your standards actually rise, your decision-making will get much easier. You don't have to motivate yourself to do the thing. You just ask yourself, what would a man with my standards do right now? And then you do that. It's not freaking rocket science, right? And so here's an easy, practical way for you guys to kind of start things, right? So I want you to pull out your phone after this video and ask yourself these 3 questions. Number 1, where am I showing up inconsistently right now? Is it your training, your business, your sleep, your nutrition, your presence with your family, right? Where's the gap between what you say matters and what you actually do? And then number 2, what story am I telling myself about why that gap exists? Because it's always a story. Busy season, bad genetics, not enough time. Those stories feel true, but they are not. They are a negotiation with a lower standard. Number 3, what would the man that I'm becoming do with that gap? Not the man that I used to be, the man I'm building toward. Then, right, that third question right there is where everything shifts, because it stops being about recovery and starts being about construction. You are not building a past version. You are architecting something new, okay? And here's what I know from working with a ton of high-performing men and myself going through the same exact stuff. The ones who actually change, right? Not just for 30 days, but they actually become the standard in which their environment is allowing. Their kids watch them train. Their team watches how they handle pressure. Their wife watches how they respond when things get hard. You're not just building a better body or a clearer mind. You are building a model, a blueprint, a reference point. You're becoming the thing that your family is going to measure themselves against, especially your children. Not through pressure, literally, but like through example. Like, that's not a small thing. That is legacy right there. And it starts with a decision about who you are and a refusal to accept anything below that line, right? So if this is hitting you different today, it's because you already know this is true, right? You've known it. You've just been waiting for permission to take it seriously. So consider this permission right now. Hit that subscribe button if you want more content built around this kind of stuff, identity, standards, performance, and what it actually looks like to rebuild yourself the right way in your 40s. And I'll see you guys on the next one.